Hey there, everybody. This is Kristin from Teaching Balance, and I'm here with you with this week's mindfulness meditation practice. And we are now in a new month, a month that the Teaching Balance theme invites you to focus on, embrace, and play with the idea of letting go. This, of course, is something that we've explored in the past. It is a pretty foundational piece to not only our practice, but also just to, for lack of a better way to describe it, the mindful lifestyle. At least that's kind of how I think about it. Now, we are going to talk about it a little bit more regarding how to embrace and cultivate the natural aptitude for letting things go off the cushion. But I thought it would make a lot of sense for us to focus a little bit more on some foundational things regarding how to apply the concept of letting go on the cushion. So I'm not going to front load it too much because I'm actually going to work it into our meditation for today. But the idea basically is around before you choose to let go of or turn away from any thoughts that may come up during your meditation practice, I'm going to invite you to take a moment or two or three or however many to really look at them more closely before you let them go. So you could sort of think about it as like embracing them, being deeply present to them before then releasing them. So let's just go ahead and get started, since most of it's really just going to be during the practice itself. I'm going to set my timer for 10 minutes. Let's go ahead and settle in. Allowing yourself to take some of those long, slow, deep belly breaths. And closing your eyes or lowering your gaze if you have not already. And then checking in with your posture. I always like to sit a little bit more upright, at least initially. Doesn't always last. And I like to roll my shoulders back and open up my chest. It's helpful for that deeper breathing and also just to open up the heart center. And then allowing yourself to even more deeply, more gradually just settle. If you find that your body has a quality of like nervousness or agitation, what I'd like you to do is notice that. And if any accompanying thoughts come up, like frustration or being annoyed with yourself, you shouldn't have had that extra cup of coffee or whatever it might be. Let's begin with this thought or whatever your first thought that you notice. Let's take a really good look at it. So for my example, if I'm feeling like I'm not settling down as quickly as I would like, or as fully, what is some of the narration that I'm hearing in my mind? Could be about that extra coffee or tea. I might be comparing my experience to another sit or practice where I was less agitated and more calm. So take a moment just to listen. What are the words that you're hearing? Either your own inner narrative or maybe even the replaying of something that occurred, or even hearing some narrative that you are creating in this moment. Remember, we're turning toward these experiences, what would otherwise be described as distractions. And I want you to really look at them. Get granular with what you observe, with the hearing, and also any images that you're seeing as well associated with it. And you can do this deeper examination with that quality of being like an objective scientist, just making notations on your clipboard, mentally jotting down the dialogue, a description of what you're seeing with the visuals. And then when you're ready, we're going to release whatever that experience was, that thought, that fantasy, that memory. We're ready to come back to our anchor, which might be just resting your attention on the breath, or tuning into the sounds inside the room and outside the room. Or perhaps your anchor is just noticing sensations in a particular part of your body. And as you continue with your practice, inevitably your mind will wander again and again and again. So whether that's happening now or the next time it does happen, continuing with this idea of embracing and examining and experiencing even more closely whatever that distraction, thought, wherever your mind went, taking a really good look at it. In addition to what I said earlier, you also may find it helpful to label it. It could be something as general as worrying or imagining or remembering. Or you could be even more specific if you like. And you just put that little label on whatever it is. And then, when you're ready, bringing your attention back again to this present moment where we're resting together until you wander off yet again. So let's sit in silence for a little bit, and I'll check in one more time before we wrap up. But again, really examining, putting your distractions, so to speak, under the microscope and noticing what you see and find. Noticing one more time and checking in where the mind is now. Taking that close look at wherever it went and whatever is observable about that. And then when you're done, releasing that, letting it go, and coming back yet again to the present and sitting until you hear the final bell. So that's our 10 minutes. So hopefully you found that looking even more closely at where your mind wanders off to, I think it kind of changes our relationship to that moment of noticing, because for me, for a very long time, it was just sort of this like, I'm thinking. And so just having a little bit more calm about it and a leisurely engagement with the thought or wherever it is, to me, I have found to be very supportive, because then it's almost as though the letting go has a more thorough quality to it, which I think can be very supportive. So as always, thank you so much for taking this time for yourself, and thank you for allowing me to accompany you on this journey. And I will see you next week. Take care. Bye.